Welcome back to the program, friend. Thank God for men of courage. One of the reasons that we do this program is to hopefully, with the help of God and with open hearts from viewers like you, to help instill courage. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is doing and saying what is right in spite of your fears. Courage is what propels the other virtues into action in the moment that they're needed. In other words, if we know what the right thing to do is, but we don't have the guts to do it, or we know what the right thing to say would be, and we don't have the courage to say it, then what good is the knowledge of what is right? So, I thank God whenever I see a man or a woman of courage. And we've got one such man right now in Denny Payman, who is the sheriff of Jackson County in Kentucky, who went on CNN with Greta Van Susteren and said in no uncertain terms that he would not obey an unconstitutional order from President Obama. Let's play the clip.
What happens if President Obama issues some executive order and increases control over guns or weapons? You're not going to enforce it?
With executive order?
Yes.
Okay. Well, when I swore oath to a community, a group of people who live in Jackson County. I swore oath to the Constitution, which I swore oath also to the Constitution of Kentucky. And in that Constitution is the Second Amendment, and that's what this country is based upon. How can I rightfully, in my own mind and in my heart, come in and take guns away from people when that is their protection? In an area our small, we're in a rural county, we're in a rural area. Sometimes it takes 30, 40 minutes to respond to the remote part of our county to protect our people. They can call on a cell phone and I can say I'm en route. I can be talking to them. A guy kicks their front door. I would rather them be armed and be able to take care of themselves and to, in my mind or my heart, take the guns away from them.
Thank you, Sheriff, for your courage, for your clarity, and may God multiply the seeds of courage that are in this man's heart into the hearts of sheriffs and legislators and legislatures all over this country. As we close out this week of broadcasting, let me make a couple of points, and we've got one more segment, by the way, after this, but I want to make a couple of points. Number one, that when the American Revolution happened, we refer to it as the American Revolution. We think it was Americans fighting the Brits. But it wasn't. It was Brits fighting Brits. Everyone here was a British citizen. And part of why the American Revolution took so long and unfolded so slowly, literally from the mid-1860s with the Stamp Act, then the Townshend Acts, then the tea tax, then the snowballs in Boston, and then the shot heard around the world in Lexington, and the March on Concord, et cetera, the choking out of Boston Harbor, all of these things. One of the reasons that it took so long, year after year after year of abuse after abuse after abuse from Parliament and the King, was that British citizens were appalled at the idea of having to fight their fellow British citizens. And that's as it should be. Common decency, love of our fellow man, would mean that you would never rush blindly or quickly into a conflagration of that nature. And when the Crown or Parliament made attacks on the liberties and freedoms of the Brits that were living in the Americas, when the King dissolved various parliaments here in America, as they were called, okay, or House of Burgesses or Burgesses, depending on your pronunciation, that provoked local British legislators like Patrick Henry and Thomas Jefferson, that provoked them to stand. And so we see the committees of correspondence being born and the Sons of Liberty, all of these different groups that slowly emerged to the surface, like today with the Tea Party or various militias, sheriffs like Denny Payman that we just saw, it slowly, the tyranny of King George and the British Parliament slowly brought a love of liberty, a love of freedom, and a willingness to fight for that liberty and freedom to the surface. We're seeing it now. We hope, we pray that we are able to get the country back without a conflagration or convulsion of violence. But if we can't, it's a darn good thing that there are men like Denny Payman who take their oath before God to uphold the Constitution seriously. I'll be right back after this break.